Alrighty there, YouTube. This will be the third video of the day. After my failure with the Colossal. Let's call it what it is. I got some stuff going to get him back in order, so stripping and all that good stuff is happening. I did manage to get a mini done today. Here in the middle you see Black Ivan. He's Harkovich's character Warjack. And, you know, he's been staring me in the face for a little while. I figured I'm going to paint him. It needs to be done so that I can put him in the done pile and actually have another model done. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever done this. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Move these out of the way. I kept painting him, and I kept going, well, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And it just kept snowballing. I spent probably the afternoon getting this guy painted. Now, he's at the point where I am happy with how he looks. Is he a studio level? No. Is he eligible to be put on the tabletop? Sure. Am I going to win any painting competitions with him? No. Again, he is just my work for the afternoon. I got him put together. He's done as far as I'm concerned. There's a few spots that I can see as he's spinning around that, yeah, maybe I could have done just a little bit better. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm happy with it, and that's kind of what matters. The main thing that I've also been pleased with is I tried the, what is this? The Armor Wash here from Privateer Press. And General Splatin had mentioned it on his channel before, so I figured I'd give it a go. It actually turned out pretty good. It made his, normally the pretty shiny metal, it made it look used, it made it look like there was grease on it, and made it look like a hydraulic system was being used and that sort of stuff. Couple things I'm pretty pleased with on this model. I actually did his eyes in a fiery red color, or fire red from Reaper. My brain just turned off on me for a second. I need coffee. And then I did the side of his boiler right there. I don't know if that's going to show up all that well or not, but right there, put some red in there just to make it look like he was actually, you know, burning some fire. Initially I had used shadowed steel for his metal bits, and it was kind of shiny. I mean, it was a little bit shiny. And after I put the Armor Wash on it, it made the barrel of this destroyer on steroids actually look like a barrel that's been fired and has been used on several occasions. Now, again, as stated earlier, is this the best work I've ever done? No. But I'm pleased with it. I'm happy with it. I'm willing to go put it on the table probably this evening against a buddy of mine who hates the fact that I run Cawdor so much, even though he runs Crix in their evil ways. Anyway, the other things that I've been working on, not today, but over time, has been this Winter Guard Officer. It's a fun model to put together. I've got most of the highlights done. I wanted to spend a little bit extra time on this one because it is a unit attachment. You're only allowed one within the Army, so I figured I'd give it a go. I'm going to try to do some more highlights on the copper right here, or I'm sorry, the brass type color that I've got going on. A bronze or brass, whatever you want to call it. Her hat, I'm going to try to pick out the details. Let me get my pointy stick here. The details of her hat emblem here, I'm going to try to pick those out, do a couple highlights with the hat itself. Now, one thing that I am noticing now that it's under the light, or maybe it's the model, but it looks to me like it's cracked a little bit. That was unintentional. I didn't do that on purpose. I don't think that's going to show up, but you can see little hairline cracks where the primer and the paint seem to have come together. It actually looks kind of cool, so I'm going to leave it. You know, accidental thing. At any rate, going to have to pick out her metal right there. Giving her purple hair just because, well, my wife's favorite color is purple, and this is the only chick model I'll have in my army on a regular basis. Standard Bearer's coming along. I'm going to do the highlights within here, and then get this painted up. I'm debating what color to use so that it stands out really well against the reds. But you know, he's coming along fairly quickly. A few bits of cleanup I need to do on him. And at my friend's urging, I picked up Zerkova. I've never ran her. I'm not a big fan of her model. I mean, I've had it here for a little bit. Primed it up today with my new can of primer to test out the new can, and everything has come out properly so that there is no big blaring fuzziness within the primer or anything. But yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this model. I mean, you've got great female models throughout the Privateer Press line, and then they gave us this one. Maybe after I paint her up and, you know, go from there, it'll be a little bit better. I'm not really feeling a lot with this model. It's I don't know, I just don't like it. But you have to use what they have if you want to run in tournaments. Nothing else really to show you. I do have a topic I would like to chat about, and while I'm chatting about that for the next couple of minutes, I'll throw up the Winter Guard Officer and Black Ivan here for you to look at. The forums today, as everybody knows, it is Gen Con today, and they've got where you can order the Privateer Press Gen Con exclusive models on their site. I went there, I got the Cadoran Bombardier Bombshell because, well, it's just a cool looking model. I don't think I'll ever field it on the table as a model unless I actually buy the Bombardiers, which I haven't yet. But there's a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth on the forums because people were sending ninjas in to get stuff for them at Gen Con. I don't see a problem with this. And again, this is my opinion. If I've got a friend who's going to Gen Con and he's willing to take the extra time, money, space, effort to pick up a whatever, then so be it. If I've given him the money in advance, then, you know, Privateer's not out the money. I don't see why it's considered immoral or wrong in any way, shape, or form to do that. And that's just my opinion. I think there's no problem with it because they're doing a favor for a friend of theirs that just because they can't, for whatever reason, real life, money, can't get to a con to get some of these models ahead of time, if they've got the cash to buy them, then I say by all means go get them. Now, the problem I have is when people go and buy, like the Conquest. It was sold at Lock and Load, and a friend of mine sent me a message one night, hey, there's a Conquest up on eBay, so I go check it out. Sure enough, there is. It's not been released for a public date yet, but people were paying, the model's $135 retail, and people were paying over $200 to get their hands on it ahead of time. I'm sorry. I'm as big a fan of Privateer Press and models as anybody else. I am not going to spend almost $75 extra just to get a model a few weeks ahead of time. There's nothing I need it that badly for. And, you know, people seem to think that that's wrong, that somebody would do that to throw it up on eBay, but I'm saying again, if they've got the cash to go out, buy it, and then take it to eBay and put it up, and somebody else wants to buy it from them for the exorbitantly larger price than they need to, then by God, that person that did that has made a couple, you know, a few extra bills, and who cares? It was a private acquisition between two people, or a public one, whatever you want to call it. I don't see the problem. I don't see why there's so much going on in the forums in this. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox before I go completely off the deep end here. Black Ivan's done, or at least as done as I'm going to get him, and the Winter Guard Officer is still a work in progress. I am still working on these two guys, Epic Ersk and Strekov, and we'll see where they go in the near future. And because everybody hates him, the War Dog. Because he's a dog and war dogs are cool. At any rate, that's my rant and my update, and I hope everybody does well. I will be putting up more Colossal videos probably next week after I've had some time off from, after I get a day or so off from work and have some time to throw some paint on him. Anyway, y'all have a good one.